in recent months rather, after talking to Pierce Morgans, Mizzy was a prankster that should not be in public. He has made videos about jumping on people, to walking around and saying you want to die.
Sentenced to 18 weeks in jail. His name is
Hold
Mizzy,
on.
and for memory, has just been sentenced to 18 weeks in jail. His name is Mizzy, and for about a month, he rose to internet infamy by doing some outrageously awful pranks. Basically, he'd just commit crimes and laugh about them while.
Yeah, and then when he talked about it, he felt like he was gonna get out of danger. He felt like he was like above the law because he was like young. And so when we were talking about it on the Pierce Morgan's reaction on the Pierce Morgan's video about his interview with Mizzy, it's a conversation that was had to where, what made you think this was funny? What made you think this was the right thing to do? He had instances of him going into people's homes and invading people's privacies. He ran up to somebody and stole their dog in front of them for a joke, for something that's funny, and he finally gets to be put in jail finally for 18 weeks. That's essentially 6 months, a half a year, 6 weeks in jail, 6 months in jail to allegedly think about his decisions. And finally, he's getting ramifications for all of his things.
While filming it, or he'd just make everyone's lives around him miserable. Just this plague of agony that swept through his local community to make everything a bit worse. I won't go through his entire resume of
Walk into random houses, he thinks is funny for some reason, and that other kid is an accessory because he, as a friend, does not stop Mizzy from any of it.
cringe. I'll just go ahead and give you some of his most embarrassing garbage. Although in his eyes, this is his magnum opus.
And that's a funny thing too, because during the interview with Pierce Morgan, he would constantly argue like how his mom has nothing to do with it. He's not gonna. He's been disrespectful to his family. He has been disrespectful to the people that like raised him up, and he's part of a small group of people who have been, I would say, perverted by social media, perverted by the claims of, hey, this is the best way for me to be number one on TikTok. This is the best way for me to be number one on YouTube, to be viral, do weird, to do things to cause controversy, to have their attention on me. So, in the I will link the video into the comments below, into the chat below, in the descriptions. But essentially, he thought it was a good idea to be a menace to society, and that's an easy way to get clicks, but that's also an easy way to put you in trouble.
These are his greatest hits. So the big one that made him pop off online is when him and his friends would walk into random people's houses to just frighten them, literally
Yeah.
just kind of breaking and entering. Then there was this one where
He stole somebody's dog, and like they were homeless, and like they were like a menace to homeless people, a menace to people, society, leapfrogging
he
people.
stole a woman's dog at the park and ran away with the dog. And then, of course, who could forget the timeless classics,
Telling
his
people him to
iconic
die.
series here, where he would go up to strangers and ask them if they want to
And
die.
touch them,
Him
too.
and his equally pathetic friends would occasionally put on ski masks and run up on strangers, ambushing them, trying to block their way, asking them if they want to die over and over again. So, overall,
There's a problem where nobody knows where the parents went wrong. Either there's a lot of instances where there's an argument where maybe the parent wasn't available to do these things correctly. Maybe there was a situation where uh it was just tough luck that like his parents were a small factor in his influence, to where, for how noisy school was and for how noisy social media is, they that drowned whatever their parents had to say. They drowned every instance of like, hey, my parents are busy, so they aren't around me as much. What is around me more than my parents for me to get moral and ethical cues from the social media. And then after watching the Nathan Andrew Tate stuff and whatever, that's his best answer. Hey, I'm going to get attention by doing this, and it's going to be fun.
Pretty high quality, harmless, gut busting comedy here from one of the most brain rotted, clout poisoned, delusional, attention starved worms TikTok has ever seen. Mizzy was able to get his name out there for about a month with a lot of people dunking
And
on
got
him,
in jail for
clowning on him, roasting him. He didn't really have fans except for like maybe 7 or 8 year olds that just liked the idea of being disruptive.
because again that makes sense because like his target audience was for like young kids because young kids. I remember being a young kid and I thought it was funny if I threw. It's like, hey, I like this girl. I'm gonna throw this rock and find out. And I would get in trouble by it if I were. I got in trouble also by like, um, accidentally throwing a tire swing at somebody. That was my fault. But hey, if I'm a kid and I see someone do it instead of me, I'm gonna think it's funny because it's a safe. It's safe to think it's funny because I'm not the one that's gonna get in trouble by it. But again, if an 8-year-old and 7-year-old sees him like pranking someone by telling people they want to die, and like, oh, it's funny because like there's no ramifications for it.
But outside
It's like this. It's like the same thing where it's funny as a kid when you play Roller Coaster Tycoon or you play Sims, and then you create situations to where people end up dying, and it's funny of how they die. Or when you watch Home Alone, the ramifications of the antics that happen during those movies would hurt in reality. If you were caught on fire, that would actually hurt. That won't be funny. But what's funny is the reaction of somebody getting hit in the face by a paint can, or the reaction of somebody getting turned on fire, or stepping on an exposed nail. Their reaction is funny. So for them to watch it in the perspective of a viewer to a movie or video, it is funny for children.
of that, it was everyone collectively just spitting on him. And then he landed an interview on a major television network where he made an absolute fucking fool of himself, and pretty much overnight, like a fart into the wind, his online presence vanished.
Yeah, the Pierce Morgan show didn't really help him with his fame. It only made him more obviously stupid and made his parents more obviously upset and more obviously disappointed by his actions. I forgot to cancel my thing. Whoopsie poopsie. But yeah, let's continue.
Well, kind of. Everyone figured out the garlic to this vampire. The one weakness every clout-obsessed turbo loser has. Being ignored. Not getting attention. Collectively, most people just stopped paying attention to Mizzy altogether. He was just this little nuisance that would buzz around occasionally, pester people, and they just kind of disregard it. No one was talking about him anymore. It took away all of his power, like Voldemort's name. Like, no one cared anymore about how many times Mizzy would do something that would get himself arrested. They'd just be like, oh, okay, moving on. It's like pee into a public pool. You expect it, and it's gross, sure, but at the end of the day, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, because again, like his antics really are the equivalents of somebody yelling at a grocery store and people writing him off because he's a nuisance, but he's only attractive to the people who find it funny that it's not them making the nuisance. It's funny when somebody else gets hit. It's not funny when you get hit.
You move on pretty quickly. So Mizzy stopped getting attention, and after this month of infamy, everyone forgot about him. But you know who didn't? The law. You see, Mizzy this entire time has still been striving to reclaim that former glory.
I can't help but notice, like in the corner right here, he has a real grade Exia, and I have it standing. Where did I put it? You know, that's actually funny. I don't know where my Gundam is. Where's my Gundam? Oh no. I'll look for him later. But you know what? Hey, I'm just gonna look for it because I'm concerned now. Oh, never mind. Never mind. He's like in the ring light that's right here, right behind the ring light, and right below Vegeta. Uh, I built him. I got really scared. Let me pick you up. Hopefully. Uh, I don't know why I put it behind the ring light. I can barely see him. But yeah, no. Here is just like for fun, for some dumb reason. I just want to show off. It took me forever making the real grade Exia. It was not fantastic, but that is my Gundam. I built it. We're gonna continue.
Which is so pathetic that he considers it success when really it's anything but. What
It's
he
annoying.
believes is his career would be anyone else's unimaginable shame.
It's
He lives
annoying.
in such a distorted reality that he believes everyone shitting on him is a good thing. For him,
Yeah, he
people
thinks the
just
attention is a good thing because like, hey, they're looking at me, they're talking about me. Let me do something else to have them keep talking about me. Let me be within their 90-second attention span and continue to like live there. When in reality, that serves nothing to everybody, to anyone.
knowing his name is a W. That's a big fucking victory royale right there. Whereas the only reason people know his name is because everyone dislikes him. Like his whole presence, his whole existence is to be disliked by people, and he is proud of it.
Yeah, I would argue that it makes sense to where for the majority of people who do this on purpose, it's easy for them to have people hate him than love him because getting someone to like you is such a harder thing to do than to be decent because if you're nice to somebody or if you're decent to somebody, you are forgotten a lot quicker than somebody who makes you angry. You stay in somebody's memory a lot more when you are angrier when you're angered by someone. When you make somebody angry, they think of you as a like a like a visceral cancer. So to be remembered quickly is probably the best solution for some people.
That is a nightmarish way of living in this fucking world. I can't believe it, but that's whatever. It's his life, I suppose. If he wants to ruin it, by all means. So anyway, that brings us to today, where he has now been sentenced to 18 weeks in jail. He went to trial last month where he was found guilty on 2 charges of breaching a court order. And this court
On
order
breaching of a
is
court
actually
order?
the most lenient shit imaginable. Basically, it asked him to stop filming people without their consent and posting it online. But this guy is an addict.
And that is the funniest thing. Like, as long as he did not make videos of people, he would have been fine. He could have just done other forms of content. He had every out possible to not get himself in trouble, and he challenged it like it was legendary mode in Halo.
Like, he can't stop scratching at his fucking neck to violate people's privacy, harass them, and then post it online for his content. He just has this inability.
Mizzy, whose real name is Bakari Bronzo Ogaro, was found guilty of 2 counts of breaching a court order prohibiting him from sharing footage of people without their consent at the trial last month. Judge Matthew Bone sentenced him at Stratford Magistrates Court on Tuesday to 18 weeks or 6 months in a youth offender institution and told him, put bluntly, your pranks are not funny. He said the 19-year-old's so-called pranks were motivated by a desire to be famous and to receive money in designer clothes from sponsors. How do you think, in the same way that people dropped Kanye West for his controversial takes, he was dropped from Adidas and other companies very quickly. So for you to be a prankster, to be a menace to society, you're going to be infamous for sure, but how are you going to get money for pulling pranks that violate people's spaces and designer clothes? Because if I was the ambassador of Fabletics, I wouldn't want somebody wearing my clothes promoting our company while they're committing crimes. I would remove my sponsorship from that idiot immediately because I don't want my associated Fabletics sweater on his body and him saying, this video is sponsored by Fabletics. And I'm going to do jump ropes on people. Bone added, your actions cause innocent members of public significant harm and distress. You claim on national television that the law was weak, which he did, and he is getting hit for it. The social media personality was found to have deliberatively floated a court order prohibiting him from sharing videos of individuals without their consent within hours. He violated this court order within hours of being issued on the 24th of May. That's so funny. That's so funny. Hold on. Just to look it up. Just to look it up. Wtphu Mizzy. Like, I made the video 3 months, not only like 3 months ago. Gee, 3 months ago. That's like, hold on. This is November. And the video for that, in like the, and hold on, and 3 months, Piers Morgan's video.
But first, many young people see
6 months ago, not even 6 months ago, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4. In the same month. So you're telling me in the same month of May that Piers Morgan made that video for my reaction video, he later in that month violated that court order within hours. Jeez.
Ability to stop himself from being an insufferable asshole. This was the easiest court order ever issued. It was basically a don't be a douchebag order, and he failed. So now he's got 18 weeks detention in a young offender institution, and the judge told him, put just him like you and which is caused in a week. A little bit harder here. 18 weeks in the slam dress. You claimed on national television the law was weak, and a bit harder here. This is someone who has shown no remorse over any of this, and after he gets out, I have no doubt he's going right back to this behavior.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Like,
have no doubt in my.
I'm pretty sure that as soon as he ends the 18 weeks without social media, without friends and family, he's gonna have that itch of like, hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Mizzy. I'm out of prison, and look at this guard. Fuck you, guard. You cannot keep me here. The law is weak. You're gonna definitely do something like that almost immediately, for sure. Hey, what's up, guard? You couldn't keep me in here. I'm 18 months and I'm out. Yeah.
My mind whatsoever. I even made a video 5 months ago going over.
Arrested 2 days after being fined. Jeez.
For just how little he gives a fuck about any punishment that might come his
He made 2 videos within the same month.
way. He's not going to let it stop him from just being a complete douchebag loser. So even though he'll spend 18 weeks in this detention facility, he's not going to stop this. This is all he seems to want to do with his life, is make everyone else's life more miserable and film.
If he wants to do that, might as well. Here's the best idea. Hire Mizzy into the IRS. The IRS already makes everybody miserable because if you don't get their forms done correctly, you can be financially in trouble within 6 months or a year afterwards.
So I don't think anything's going to change in the time that he'll spend away from society. I think he will come back and be just as annoying and degenerate as ever. That's my bold prediction on it, but no matter what, it is still good news, though, that he is finally receiving some kind of actual consequences for these actions.
And that's just the funniest bit, that like it took him within the same month of him going on an interview with Piers Morgan, and then all of a sudden getting a court order saying, hey, stop making these videos, and then within the same month say, screw you, I'm going to film this anyways within hours after the court order. It's really funny about how karma just goes around.